And we are live here with Raw Talks. This is Mr. Raw, aka Stefan Avivson, and today I'm sitting together with Matan Hazanov, who's a Canadian VC and storyteller. And I've been looking very much forward to this conversation because the truth of the matter is that we never talked, we never met. So nice to meet you, Matan.
Nice to meet you as well.
Am I saying it correctly?
You can say it whatever you want. I don't care.
I feel the same. Don't worry about that. So I'm just to let the audience know, I have raised money for 5 of my companies. So I've been sitting on the other side of the table and would love to understand because now it's 2025. The times have changed dramatically, I would say, for the past 2 years, at least from the European side. And I would love our audience who are most likely a founder or wannabe founder are going to be and starting to maybe even raise money from a VC. And I would love to understand from your perspective how that all goes. But could you tell me a little bit about Enigma Ventures and what you're up to these days?
Yeah, sure. Enigma Ventures was started about a year ago after I left my previous VC job, which was running the corporate venture arm of one of the largest tech companies in the world, Constellation Software. And I joined up a family office called the Heitner family. And my partner, Robert Heitner, he's been investing in startups for the last several years. And we decided to join forces. We invest in vertical market software businesses and software infrastructure in the early stage. So pre-seed and seed in Canada and North America.
Nice. And so have you had any investments yet the past year? Or
Yeah, we made 3 investments so far.
cool. And if I'm a founder and I have an idea, and I even perhaps created a dick pic. No, I'm sorry. I mean pitch deck. Sorry. Why I say that is I usually say that I've helped several founders in regards to making pitch decks, and many of them are sending their pitch deck around, and the only way for me to explain what they're actually doing is by sending the DPs around, and perhaps you should be talking to the investor before even sending a picture of yourself. What are your thoughts?
So I would say that in some cases, a deep picture would be more welcome than the pitch deck. So
absolutely. So what do you see founders are doing, and what do you see they should be doing if they should approach a guy like you? And what stage should they be in?
Yeah, it's a bit broad. I mean, we invest in. Let me put it this way: if you're an exceptional founder building something really great, which every founder believes they are, you should be reaching out to us. More specifically, you just have to fit our criteria a bit. If you're building a CPG company, you want to compete with Red Bull, you're probably not a fit for us because not probably you are not a fit for us because we invest in software businesses, right? If you're you're building a consumer app, you're not a fit for us because we invest in B2B software businesses. If you're have 10 million in revenue and raising $100 million, you're not a fit for us because you're too late stage. So just fit our criteria and reach out. And the worst thing is you'll get a no, right? So that would be my advice.
So just with a quick note, or do you want a long mail, or what are you actually expecting? Because I believe you're looking at 1,000 different cases on an annual basis.
Much more actually.
Yeah.
We,
actually,
when I was at,
yeah, tell me.
we would tend to see we don't do it as much now because we're still, setting up our processes and all that. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be crazy for us to come across 5,000 startups a year that are raising, and we would analyze, at least some level, 500 to 1,000 and probably due diligence on 50 to 100 of those.
No, funnily enough, I'm helping an Israeli guy who actually created an AI engine to read out the pitch decks for VCs. Uh, is that something you see as well? A lot of happening in regards to founders wanting to go back to the VCs with products. I
So, are
just
you
want,
using AI to read a pitch deck?
yeah,
Okay, I mean, I don't know how that's, I've seen a lot of these tools out there. Oh, we can help you with due diligence and speed up process. One of the best things about being VC is going through pitch decks and trying to figure out what the company is doing, what makes them special. Like, what would an AI tell you about a pitch deck that you can't get from reading it for a couple of minutes? I just don't understand the usefulness of that tool, that kind of tool. I don't know, you'll save an hour over the course of a week. Like, okay, and maybe your decisions will become worse, because there's a certain pattern recognition that only you have that an AI won't have. Certainly not today. So, and there may be an element of the business that won't be picked up by AI that you will pick up because you have experience and because maybe there's an interesting element of the person's story that is compelling enough for you, but not for the AI. So I wouldn't entrust one of the most important aspects of what I do to AI at this point.
no, not me either. I'm also personally waiting 2-3 hours or 2-3 years before we get the next hump in regards to the development. Well, what is on your mind then these days?
Me, I just want to make money. That's on my mind these days, and on my mind for the last several years.
Sounds good. So, do you involve yourself deeply in the startups, or are you just throwing the check, or how do you work in Enigma?
I find that the best startups don't need my help. Maybe on the margin, I can help out a little bit, but if everything's going well, I tend not to get so involved. There's an important role, governance role that VCs play that I take seriously. So if I'm on a board, or at least even a board advisor, holding the founders accountable to whatever they told us, their projections, keeping them honest, making sure that reporting is done well, accounting is done well, all of that, helping them raise money is usually an area that I'm very helpful in. But no, I'd say the best VCs stay out of the way of the best founders. So as long as everything's going well, I tend not to get so involved.
I like that. So, if I met you on the street, like we almost do right here, right now, what would you tell a founder? What would be the best advice to give a founder in 2025? Being a Canadian
About
VC
fundraising or
investor
just in life in general?
in general, please.
Oh, I'd say there's a 97% chance you should probably quit and go do something else.
Apart from that, what if I'm not a quitter? But I totally
I
agree with
say,
you.
okay, come back to me in a year, and if you haven't, hit 10% of your projections, then you should probably quit then. Once you have a little less confidence in
Yeah,
yourself.
I fully agree with you. I've been a serial entrepreneur for now 29 years, and when I was a young entrepreneur, we were all losers. We were considered losers. Nobody really wanted to talk to us because we were geeks and just wanted to do our own shit. And now we've
Yeah,
all become rock stars. It's so funny.
I want to double click on what I just said because people may take it the wrong way or may not understand where I'm coming from. Most people, first of all, most startups will fail. Everybody knows that. Most startups should not be on the path of trying to raise venture capital or go down this hyperscale path. And most think they are on that path or should be on that path. And most aren't. If you want to build like a great business, build some cash flow, build some generational wealth, I'm all down for that. And I'd probably never tell someone to quit if that's what they're trying to do. But
Mm.
most startups, people that call themselves a startup or say, I'm building a startup, are playing the wrong game. And it's just very sad to see. I can tell you, I hear these stories all the time. And someone came to me recently. I'm not going to say too much detail about their business, but the idea was so stupid that like I'm just like, bro, come on, man. Like, I don't want to discourage you in life, but this is a very bad idea. And I said, you can always prove me wrong by getting traction. And, like you don't have to prove anything to me. Traction will speak for itself. But the guy poured in $500,000 into his business, and the traction wasn't so impressive, and the idea didn't make sense, and the demand wasn't there, And he was so convinced that he was doing the right thing. And I was thinking to myself, there's people like me, meaning VCs that talk a lot, that say, don't give up. You're just one more no away from getting XYZ. This other company that's worth $100 billion, they didn't get traction for the first 10 years of their business. Oh, a million VCs said no, and then Sequoia said yes. It's like, yeah, that's called selection bias, because what you're also not saying is the 10,000 other startups that had the same path and also failed, but after a lot of pain. So that's why I say 97%. Like, I'm being exaggerating just a little bit, but most people that think they're on the startup path are not and shouldn't be doing that. They're better off either just building a business that never is reliant on venture capital or doing something else entirely.
Yeah, when you think of it, if you put $500,000 dollars or whatever currency into a company, and if you haven't gained any traction with that money, I would also say you would probably have spent the money much better in any other way. I always wonder why people pour all their time into a product without speaking to their customers.
And some people do, and it still fails. There's one thing I've learned is there's no like one path to success. And I've seen ideas that I think are very dumb be very successful because I have too much of an optimistic view on human beings. So obviously, I should have less of a bit more pessimistic view that people buy very dumb things, and there's a lot of very stupid things that are successful, like Labubus. It's like, Beanie Baby. I mean, I was into Beanie Babies at some point, but if you would have told me that Beanie Babies were going to be a thing, I'd be like, it's just a doll. You're going to go sell a doll for like $30. I'm like, okay, whatever. But that's not the worst of it. I've seen some really really dumb ideas that were successful, and so that's why I'm a bit cautious. I try not to have a dogmatic point of view. If I hear a stupid idea, I have two questions that I usually ask. One, how much money and time have you poured into this, so I can get a sense of time and scale and all that. And two, what's your traction? And if they just started off, then they may just have to prove to themselves that it doesn't make sense, or maybe it will make sense. But if they've been at it for years and they poured money into it and they're still not getting traction, then it may just be the idea itself and not just your one more phone call away from success.
I would, at least that applies to B2B SaaS companies. When you have spoken as a founder, when you have talked to 100 potential clients that should be your ICP, and you don't understand why or why not they buy from you, you have a challenge.
I'll say the opposite also. I mean, there was a guy I met maybe at the beginning of the year. I met him at different events. You wouldn't know from just looking at him. He's an impressive guy, great background. He talked to me about his idea. I'm like, yo, it's not that the idea didn't make sense. It's that it was so impractical. I thought the guy was smoking crack. It just didn't. It was so impractical. The idea. I don't want to get into it, but like you would hear it. I can tell you offline, and you're just like, nah, that's never going to work. It's just too many moving pieces, too complicated, requires too much scale for it to work. And I'm like, get back to me when you've when you've actually done it, and then we can consider investing. 2 months ago, he's like, I've done it. I have customers, I have revenue, and I've set it up. I asked him the question like this, and this, and how'd you do it? Answered all the questions, and then he had got great investors involved. I'm like, I want to invest, but at that point it was too late because he finished raising money, and I tried to invest in him very recently. We couldn't agree to terms, so but I'm still on like the next time he raises money, I'm going to be on top of that. Like I want to be on the forefront of that. And sometimes it just works out. Sometimes you could be wrong about what an entrepreneur could do or what is possible to build. So there's all kinds of situations I have because you come across thousands of companies a year. Speak to at least a few hundred of them a year. You're going to come up with a lot of interesting stories.
Cool. So, any last notes for a founder
Last note
before
for
I'll leave you
founders.
for a good morning? Because as I can hear you saying, as a first thing is that if you are a startup founder, the first part is even to consider whether aiming for a VC journey is even the right thing, because another part I've seen many times with VC and invested startups is because they're not hitting the YOYs and all the funky KPIs, they don't act as the active base of the portfolio that the VCs are doing, and that kills a lot of mediocre startups that could actually just have a lovely 10, 20, 30, $50 million ARR on an annual basis, making 70% profit, not making it into being a unicorn, actually.
Yeah, the challenge is that a lot of the innovative businesses require a lot of resources to kind of get off the ground. I think it's less true today, but it's always going to be true that there's a certain amount of resources that are required that most people don't have. So let me maybe leave off with this. Before going on this journey, if you're kind of starting out or at the early stages, you should be able to answer two questions. And if you can't answer those well, and this is not the type of questions you should answer from oh, I need to answer this for a VC. I'm saying go to a forest, like take a walk in the forest, do it a few times, get all the nonsense out of your head, bring your ego down, be a little bit humble when you ask this question. And if you don't have good answers to these two questions, you should really rethink what you're about to do. The first question is why now? What has changed that allows you to build this hyper scale, hyper growth, whatever innovative business, right? That didn't exist 2 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. Okay. So if you're building a CRM today and you think that's so innovative, yeah, maybe 20 years ago, but not today. Okay. The other question is why you? So let's take for granted that the why now there's a good answer. Why you? What makes you so special? Because if the why now is true, that means there's going to be plenty of people that are very talented, very skilled, have a lot of industry experience, have the right networks that are going to try to build the same thing and compete with you. So what makes you so special to make you think you're going to be one of the winners in this space? If you don't have good answers to those questions, you shouldn't go down this path.
Because it's hard being a founder, for real. It's hard work. It's not a day job. I fully agree with you, Matan. Thank you very much. Please stay on the line and have a lovely day.